All right, everybody. I'm Cable Provider. Welcome back to Art Block, the one-stop shop when you need information on what to do when you have no idea what to do. Today, my guest with me is the Vocal Butcher.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, Mike, I'm so happy to have you here today. I love getting to talk with a bunch of people, but I especially love getting to talk with musicians. I have so many questions.
Well, you've made an awful choice. I'm a terrible musician. I'm a great bullshitter, though. Oh, yeah. Is there swearing on this? Is swearing allowed?
If there isn't, I'm already in trouble. Because the previous
I was about to say, you had Sheena on this. I assume swearing is allowed. She swears more than I do.
Yeah, no. Feel free. Don't worry about it. So we can say all the PG-13 words we want.
Thanks for reaching out. I appreciate it. I'm not panicking. I've never panicked a day in my life.
You've never panicked a day in your life, even
never.
What about during like one of your first times performing? That's a good segue right there.
Oh man, we're just jumping right into it, huh?
Just jumping right into it. No panicking.
Oh God. Well, man, I've been a performer for a long time. Like I started when I was a little kid. Like, if we're going way the hell back, it started back when I was in grade school. I was in music class, just general music class in like third grade. And just the music teacher was going around and she was asking us all to just sing a note. Just sing a note. And I saw the kids like, ha. Or like, ho. Or, huh. And she comes up to me. And the way my brain is wired, I'm just like, I've heard songs before. Because I do a lot of mimicry. Mm-hmm. That's how I learn. Funnily enough, that's how I learn like lyrics to songs, or that's how I learn music, is by repetition, and listening to it and learning it and then replicating it. And so I remember distinctly hearing like an opera singer, so I was just like, nah! And then she was just like, okay, opera man. And then so she gave me that nickname for like all of elementary school after that. And then from that point, she basically, her name was, at the time, she was Mrs. Ogsbury was her name, was the music teacher. And then she was my choir teacher for third grade, and then fourth and fifth grade. And then I just kept up with music. So I started with choir, and then I also joined orchestra in fourth grade. And then I switched to band in fifth grade and choir. And then in high school, middle school and high school, I stuck with band and choir. I actually play the saxophone.
Oh, no
yeah, I played alto sax consistently for 9 years. Not as much. I still have my sexy silver sax. I bust her out on the very rare occasion if I want to be like, hey, chat, I'm on streaming, I'll be like, hey, chat, you want to see me play a saxophone? They're like, what? Just give me 10 minutes in order to warm up the reed, though, because saxophones are annoying. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever played a woodwind instrument before.
I've futzed around a little bit.
You got to get the reed moist. You got to warm up your embouchure, your lips and your jaw and everything. And, oh, man, it's a pain in the ass. But as far as performance goes, I want to see my first performance. Was, funnily enough, my family was visiting Canada's Wonderland. And my parents, unbeknownst to me, had been like, Chris is joining choir and stuff. That's my first name, by the way, if nobody knows. Chris is joining choir. And then so we're gonna get it so that he gets dragged up on stage for one of those funny, like, little live shows that they do at theme parks and stuff.
Yeah.
So they paid, I don't know how much money to get me on stage. But I just remember I was picked from the audience. I was excited because I thought I was just randomly picked. And then they dragged me on stage, like backstage. And then just all of a sudden there's a bunch of people just just like put this on, put this wig on, like get in these pants, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh god. And then next thing I knew, I was basically shuttled onto the stage in a miniature Elvis costume. And so that was my first instance of being on stage. I don't remember how old I was at the time. I was really young, like elementary school. But yeah, I didn't sing or anything. I just kind of stood on stage and maybe danced a little bit. But that was my first experience on stage, and then it's all downhill from there.
Downhill. I've heard you sing, dude. Your voice is amazing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. God knows I've had the practice. Again, like I've been singing for over 20 years now, I think.
That's impressive.
I love doing it. It's a great way to express emotion. It's stress relieving, and it's something that I was able to do. I'm the only member in my immediate family that does music. My brother and my older brother and my little sister dabbled a little bit. Like my sister did choir and musical theater, but she was never as into it as I was, because in high school I was like, I'm going to be in choir, and then I'm going to be in symphonic band, and then I'm going to be in drama in the fall, and then musical theater in the springtime, and I'm also in the Boy Scouts, and I'm also on the tennis team. I was one of those kids that did the recreational activities.
You were just all over the place. You're a man of many talents.
It was so much goddamn work. Like, it was constant nonstop. I was one of those losers that actually did their homework in study hall, because I valued my time, and somehow I still made time for Halo. Like, I still made time to play Xbox Live somehow.
This is starting to hurt because I had to make that difficult choice. It was either homework or video games.
You're feeling it deep in your soul.
Oh, it hurts.
And I was also like a straight A student at the time too. Like, I was just I don't know, but I always loved performing. As chaotic as everything was, there's one thing that I knew that I really enjoyed doing, and that was performing. So I liked being on stage. I liked singing for people. I never liked being told to do that, like on command, and that's something that a lot of musicians and performers can agree on. I don't think there's anyone who likes being told, like, "Oh, you're a vocalist? Oh, sing something for me." Dude. Or yeah.
Oh no, like I get the feeling. I was before like even doing like vocal work or anything online, really. I was a comedian for a couple of years, so
oh hell yeah.
When people find out about that, it's like, "Oh, you're a comedian? Be funny."
Say something funny, funny man.
I'm eating spaghetti. I don't want to be funny right now.
Yeah. I heard you're the funny guy, Rocco. You're so fucking funny.
Oh, Rocco, you're so hilarious.
We just did two different references right there. I was doing Boondock Saints, and you went with Rocco's Modern Life.
Every time I hear Rocco, I have to default to Mrs. Big Head. I can't help it.
Oh, Rocco. Oh, Rocco, you're such a sweet boy.
Oh, that voice is going to be forever stuck.
Oh, Mrs. Big Head.
Mrs. Big Head.
Oh.
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 You know what? We can stop interviewing. We can just do voices for the next 20 minutes.
You don't tempt me, man. Like, that's also one of my favorite things to do, is to just, again, like as I said, I learn by mimicry. Sometimes to a detriment, because I don't necessarily know if I have my own style of singing at this point. I'm really good at mimicking vocals. If I hear a vocal technique being used, and I'm doing a cover, I don't just sing in my normal voice or whatever comes most naturally. I mimic it. For instance, I did a cover recently of Heavy Day from Guilty Gear XRD Sign. Really good freaking song. And that vocalist, I forget his name, but he does a lot of gravel in his voice. And so lots of heavy gravel. So normally I'd be like, dance, Nate, Laughter will come out of nowhere, yeah. Which is a little bit of gravel, but for that song in general, I went like full on like Metallica-esque in a way. But in doing that, I got comfortable with doing that technique, so now that's something that I can do more comfortably because I practiced that. Same thing with screaming as well. I don't like to do screaming too much, and I often have to work into it because I don't practice it enough. But like I had a friend when I was in college and I'd visit home, and he would he listened to a lot of post-hardcore, and a lot of that has scream vocals in it. So like Memphis May Fire and stuff like that. And what was the one? It's not Memphis May Fire. It's another band, but it's like, and when you die, the only kingdom you'll see is 6 foot wide and, or it's 3 foot wide and 6 foot deep. Like, even then, that wasn't very good. But in terms of in terms of like hitting the sweet spot.
Yeah, I got it.
There's a sweet spot for screaming to hit. That was very unwarmed up, but yeah, I love learning new vocal techniques because it just makes me a better performer. It's another tool in my toolbox, and a lot of that, funnily enough, translates to voice acting too. And as a theater kid growing up, and never getting cast for lead roles, that was always because I've always been overweight to a certain degree. Let me tell you, that fucks with you psychologically. So in voice acting, it doesn't matter what I look like as long as I can provide the vocal performance and the voice they need and the character they need. So that's why voice acting has been very liberating for me, is because I get to act and I get to do what I always want to do. And while I would like to act on the stage, this is the next best thing because I can get cast to be a 7-foot-tall werewolf man doing all the roars and stuff, and I'm not a 7-foot-tall werewolf man. I'm an average height, balding, 30-something-year-old like metal enjoyer, and so the fact that I can become these characters and stuff is also something I really heavily enjoy, and I'm really happy that I'm starting to break out into more of.
No, that's really cool. Like, and honestly, too, you don't know what happens to you when a full moon happens, so you might be a 7-foot-tall werewolf, but that is...
Dude, I would... I legit, like, there are nights when there's a full moon out, and I just look at that thing, and I'm like, is tonight the night?
I wonder.
Can I go wild? And I'm just like, no, but it is very pretty.
I lost my train of thought thinking about transforming. Dude, I'm so happy I asked you to come on for this. This is already a lot of fun.
Thanks, man. I was thinking about becoming my persona in the moonlight.
Embody it. Have you ever danced with a Holmick in the pale moonlight?
On occasion. I'll take a mirror outside with me. I'll stare longingly into my own eyes.
You know what? If you don't love yourself, who will?
Not many people.
Let me ask you something, because with your whole experiences of performing and, like, you know, dabbling in a whole bunch of different areas, would you say, like, all of your experience for that has, like, because I'm new to doing, like, I've been singing a lot my entire life, like, just in chorus and stuff when I was growing up, too. But I've never really, like, been a part of, like, a band until I, like, met Louise and, like, started working with him a lot more.
Oh, you guys are in a band?
Yes, we started a band called Luck and Key a couple of years ago.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
We only got 2 songs right now, but we're working on it.
It's 2 songs, man. Like, I've only got 1 original song to my name right now, so you got me beat.
What I wanted to ask is, like, I still find myself having a hard time, like, getting my, I guess it's like my vocal confidence up, like, where I know I can sing something, but I get so nervous and in my own head that I can't really sing the way that I want to. Do you think your experiences throughout your entire life have, like, helped you to have this sort of, like, bit of confidence, like, so that when you do perform, you don't feel that anxiety? Or,
I mean, no matter what happens, no matter how good you are, you always get the butterflies. That's just the thing. Like, if you are performing in front of a new crowd for the first time, if you are performing, I get butterflies sometimes whenever I'm starting up a live stream and I'm going to be collaborating with new people for the first time, because I don't know how things are going to go. Like, I believe I've got a slight anxiety. One of my friends believes I do, because they're treated for it, and a lot of the things we discussed, they're like, I'm pretty sure you got anxiety, dude. I'm like, yeah, maybe. But what's nice is that once you have that first initial experience in that environment, if you go back and do it again, it's easier. And it's just like practicing with singing or an instrument or with anything. The more you immerse yourself in that kind of situation or that environment, the more comfortable you are with it. You always have some nerves, unless you're just like narcissistically confident in who you are. You always have some nerves. At least for me, in any new performance situation, I always get butterflies, and that's natural, because that's just performing in general. Well, what's important, I feel, is to use that energy of anxiety and try and like transmorgify it. That's a word. Into or transpose it. There we go. I'll use a musical term. Transpose it into a positive energy to use for your performance. Like, and go nuts. Something that I'm very proud of is whenever I sing or I perform, people are always telling me, dude, you look like you're having so much fun up there, or I'll be singing like an Italian aria or something like that, and some people are like, I could tell by the expression on your face and the way you did the notes, it actually made me cry, man. And I'm like, oh, like, so being able to transform that anxiousness and nervousness and kind of utilize it as a tool to better your performance, is something you develop over time by just practice and putting yourself in a public situation, because anyone who's never done that before is going to be nervous and unsure. It all comes down to just doing it frequently. And what helped me all the time was just being in performances all the time, being in choir, being in band, being in musical theater. I've lived on a stage for most of my life at points in time. So that's how I'm able to put myself out there, is because I'm used to it at this point, because I've been doing it for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. It's always amazing when you see somebody who's been doing it for so long, because like, when I hear you sing, it's like you said, it's like, damn, he just seems like a natural up there. It's like, I bet he was just like born straight out, just like la 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 la, just hitting notes left and right.
I popped out of the pussy singing.
You were like
singing goddamn Mozart. Yeah. Before Tenacious D even penned their first song, I screamed it into the void.
It's a boy.
Powerful. I think that was the noise I made whenever I was born, because I tried taking my first breath before I got out, and I was born suffocating, so I imagine I was born like
Jack Black was in the other room like, wait, say that again. Runs over to the nearest payphone like, hey, Kyle, you know that sound you were looking for? Well, check this out.
Just a suffocating child.
Oh my fucking god.
But that was a fun story. I almost died at birth from suffocation. That was great.
Aww.
I got better.
Oh, okay, good. I was worried.
I'm an ethereal spirit. I've evolved over time. I've torn my way into the corporeal realm in order to bring glorious metal to the world.
If that isn't a tagline for something, it needs to be like, I've clawed my way into this realm to bring glorious metal.
I'm sure someone says something to that effect.
They need to use it in the next Deathlock movie when that drops.
I don't listen to Deathclock that much.
Oh, really?
To be honest. Well, I feel like some people will be like, oh, sacrilege. Oh, you're the self-professed metal man, and I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't mean I like all forms of metal. Like, I'm not a big fan of black metal, for instance. Too much. I like being able to understand the lyrics, and I like vocal melodies. So when it's just like, while I can respect the vocal talent it takes to do that for an entire album, I don't want to do it.
Can't really sing along with it unless you really know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. And even then, if you're untrained, a lot of people that do listen to that are untrained, and so they'll end up murdering their vocal cords trying to sing along.
But, honestly, we could jump onto this then. Like, if you're not big with, black metal type of music, or if you had, like, preferred genres or styles to, like, cover or perform in, like, if you're doing original stuff, what do you like to do? Not so much your favorite, but just a couple of your favorites.
I mean, classic metal, obviously, but I grew up listening to, like, Three Doors Down, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Linkin Park, Nickelback, 3 Days Grace, just contemporary, like, alternate and, like, rock bands and stuff like that. So that's how I started, like, learning how to sing contemporary music. And back in the day, I could barely sing, like, Kryptonite by Three Doors Down, let alone, like, Tribute by Tenacious D, and I'm not even gonna touch Master Exploder because even now that song's difficult for me. So if I were to, like, write my own music, I also grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog music from the Sonic Adventure. Like, I loved the Sonic Adventure games growing up. Crush 40 fucks. Like, dude. The original song that came out this year, that I've been working on for like 3 years, that was a lot of that was an ordeal. But Limit Break, that song that I did in collaboration with Alex from Wasmo for the YouTube channel Smash Bracket, coming at some point soon to Spotify. That was just a letter of love to Crush 40. Because the music and style, it was meant to sound like a Crush 40 style song. And I think we pulled it off fairly well. I had to attempt to do the audio engineering for it. I did an job, if I'm being honest. I mixed my vocals decently. But the instrumentals, I've never mixed instrumentals before. So I was just like, it sounds good enough, I think. And it was, you want to talk about a nerve-wracking experience. That was exhausting, and we could talk about that later. But as far as music, I'm down to honestly perform whatever. If I was to put out an album, it would probably be like kind of mix of like rock and like classic metal or something like that. I also love symphonic metal. Like I love Blind Guardian. I enjoy Powerwolf. Oh, dude, Blind Guardian is so good. But then I also love Ronnie James Dio. I love Black Sabbath. I like Iron Maiden. It would be interesting. I don't know. I feel like if I were to like put out music, I would have like different albums that were different genres. Like one would be just like straight rock, one would be metal. I usually feel like at this point in my career, I don't necessarily have an idea of what I'd want to do for myself in terms of just like solo music, but I would love to lend my voice to any style someone would want me to do. So like if someone wanted me to sing power metal, yes. Classic metal, yes. Rock, yes. Opera, yes. I am classically trained. So yeah. Yeah, I'm honestly just down for whatever style tickles me at the time. I'm not particularly picky, to be honest. Well, it would be, it would take a lot for me to do country, but
Everybody always has a problem with country.
well, here's the deal. I don't like the tone of country singers, most of them. I did do what I call butcher bites. I need to get back into those. A butcher bite, just like a 1 minute cover of Jelly Roll's "Son of a Sinner." I really enjoyed that song, but Jelly Roll's a fantastic singer. There's so much like popular country that is just so annoying to listen to. I don't know if it's just like a mix between the twangy guitar and like the grab a beer and take my truck down to the bayou. Got my girl and spinning all night long. Yeah, like that was stuff that when I was in school I was trained not to ever do. Like as far as singing, like if you're classically trained, you're taught to sing like you're British. Tall vowels, very up position. So when you're singing and when you're speaking, it should sound like this. Up here, in this position, very vertical, very proper, very British RP. But in America...
I didn't know that. I never knew that was a thing.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, that's like vocal technique 101. If you're singing like choir music or classical music, you sing like an English person. Now, obviously, musical theater that differs. Like if you're singing with a character, if I'm singing with a character with an accent, say I want to sing more like a Londoner. Like you're going to adapt the accent for that. Mm-hmm. Or if you're going to sing more in an Irish voice, you have to go and you figure this out and all that shite. But generally speaking, classical English is straight up like British RP. Tall vowels, very posh.
I'm gonna have to give this a try.
Yeah, it helps. You just think tall. You think British. You think like and and you even do that with vocal warm-ups. So you just be like like that kind of a thing. There's in your mouth. There's something called the singing is such an interesting instrument because lots of people can do it. With anything, understanding what you're doing is the next level. So for instance, whenever I go like, the air is, first of all, my diaphragm is pushing air in my stomach. I'm not breathing with my shoulders or pushing up with my chest. I'm exhaling with my stomach and going up. The air is hitting the back of my throat, which is the soft palate. Like there's like behind your teeth, there's the hard area. Mm-hmm. And then where you get closer to your uvula, that's the soft palate. Mm-hmm. And so you want the air to kind of circulate and spin there like a ball. And then it projects outward. And you also like kind of, eventually it just becomes like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just like intrinsic to where you just visualize the verticality. Some people are like, pretend you've got a string on the top of your head. And you hold it above your head in order to have proper vocal position. Or you take your hands and you make a mask on your face and you focus the sound, you visualize the sound coming through your eyes and forehead. And that helps with projection. And that helps with proper tone and also intonation. Learning proper vocal technique, intonation being if you're sounding in pitch, and that kind of a thing. But there's a lot to singing. Mm-hmm. A lot. I learned a lot in college, that made me, first of all, humbled me, because let me tell you what, I tell you what, I went to college and I was so far up my own ass And then I was in sophomore year of college, and I was just like, I am so good, blah blah blah. And then there's this guy, his name is Alan, really awesome dude. He comes in out of nowhere. I'm looking at him. I'm just like, look at this nerd. Look at this nerd coming in here with his glasses and his blonde hair and stuff. And he gets on stage and he destroys it. He is one of the best singers I've ever heard, and I ate the biggest slice of humble pie that day. No matter what, you can always be better. You can always be a better performer, a better singer. And I guess we can you wanted to talk about what motivates me, I guess. What keeps me going. That was one of the things we wanted to touch on, I guess. That I want to be better. I want to reach the heights of what I am capable of as a performer. I don't stop. That's why I experiment so much. I never stop. If you have the drive to want to get better at what you do, that helps you go forward. We got really off topic. Sorry of the last thing we were talking about, but that just kind of where that led to.
Dude, I'm learning. I'm just sitting here like, all right, no, keep going. I'm picking stuff up, and I guarantee you, once this is over and like, you know, we've gone our separate ways, I'm gonna just walk around my house and start like, all right, keep everything at the top and stop trying to sing and see where I hit. I'm gonna be doing this for the rest of the day.
You see right there, you were speaking like a Londoner. You need to speak more proper and RP British with it. And then you translate that to singing, and you do this, and then you keep going, and like that kind of thing. It's practice. It's practice. And honestly, walking around your house and just practicing that is one of the best ways to do it. Practicing that, like even practicing accents too, is always fun. I'm a loser.
Hey, I
just
do
be
it
in
too.
my.
Don't worry.
Well, I'll be in my car, and I'll be like, that's a funny voice I heard today. I want to try and mimic it. And then I'll just be like in my car, trying to be like,
I want to hang out today. Let's go. Let's go, guys. Come on, guys. I'm being serious right now.
My car is my practice space, I would say. I'm always singing in my car, always practicing in my car.
Because just like a car, you're never stopping. You're always going.
Yeah, and I like driving like that. Turn on some good tunes, sing along to it, and it's a practice space where no one can hear you unless you're stopped at like a stoplight, and then people can look over and see you like rocking out to like, we'll carry on, just like to My Chemical Romance or something. You're just going nuts in your car. But then you're entertainment for somebody that's just going to work, and they're just like, look at this asshole.
Yeah, and then halfway through their day, they're going to be just sitting at their job, and they're going to be like, carry on. Huh. And then it's going to spread.
I pride myself on the fact that I give people earworms constantly.
Dude.
I love annoying people with that. They're just like, oh, Mick, you sang that thing, and now I can't get it out of my head. I'm like, good, I'm doing my job.
That's why I keep bringing up Master Exploder every time I talk with you. I heard you do it once on a karaoke stream, like a couple months ago, and ever since I heard it, I was like, ah.
It's a fun song.
I love that song, and then you killed it, and it was like, ah.
Oh, thanks, man. Funnily enough, quick sidebar. I recently saw Tenacious D in May with my friends Jared, Erica, and Jacob. So for those of you who are listening, the 8-bit drummer Chatia and Secret Agent Jacob, we all went to see Tenacious D the first weekend of May. Now, in the past, when Tenacious D has played a show, they would sometimes do Master Exploder, but it would be a joke. And they would just like play the song in the background and mimic playing their instruments and like just turn off their instruments and microphone and just pretend it. Mm-hmm. They actually performed it. Jack Black at the start of it, he's just like, all right, so this is a song that we don't really perform because it's really fucking hard. But we're actually gonna play it for you guys today. It's a little song you might have known called Master Exploder. And I lost my mind because I'm like, they're actually playing the song, and he did a really good freaking job. He was, oh my god, I was blown away. I was like, I never thought in my life I would see them perform this song live. And I've seen Tenacious D 3 times live. And this is the third time, and they had never played it live before, and this is the first time where they played it live. And I'm just like, oh my god, this is like, cross that off the bucket list. Saw Jack Black do Tenacious D or do Master Exploder live. So freaking good,
dude. It's such a, I would like art blog. I would kill to have seen that live. Tenacious D is so good.
They also premiered their song "Video Games," which became a viral hit on YouTube. That was the first time, that show was the first time they played that song live. So there's like two firsts. During that show was they actually played Master Exploder, and then they played Video Games.
That song's also live. An earworm too.
Oh yeah, it is. I want to do a cover of that. I've kind of missed the boat a little bit on that as far as like relevance. I've got a plan. I'm gonna be working on something with a newer buddy of mine, Malcolm Horn, Music Man 1017. Go check out his YouTube channel and his Twitch. He just put out an album recently. Really good synthwave stuff and guitar work. Ooh, nice. And we're going to be working on something Tenacious D related together that may include video games and stuff. So look forward to that when that happens.
Stuff is always interesting.
By the time this comes out, it might already have happened. I don't know when this is.
Oh, so we got at the end of the month.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah. Look forward to it then.
Everybody look forward to it. We'll put links and everything so everything can find it in the description.
Oh my goodness.
We've covered a lot today. We've gone through a lot of stuff, and I feel like I personally learned a bit here today.
If there's one thing I'm good at, it's talking about myself.
Well, I enjoyed it, and I had a great time talking with you today.
Oh, okay. Are we done? We wrapping up?
Wrapping up pretty much. These aren't meant to be super, super long. I kind of want to just like give.
Gotcha.
And plus, if I want to start pulling repeat guests back in, if y'all got more to share, I can always come back again.
Oh, well, if you're wanting to talk more vocal stuff, feel free to hit me up or whatever. I've talked a lot about singing today, but God knows I could talk a lot about my voice acting experience also. But no, that was fun. Thank you for having me.
Everybody, Vocal Butcher Part 2. Look forward to that coming soon, too. As we end off, before we sign off, any last bit of advice you'd give for either people who've been singing for 20 plus years or people who are just starting out today? Any words of advice you want to pass on?
If you love doing it, don't stop. And always strive to push yourself, just like working out in a gym. Like slowly push yourself over time. It makes you better. Like if you learn to love the practice and to love doing it, like make practice fun, keep going, don't stop. And yeah, try and reach the highest heights that you are able to.
I think those are great ways to end this off at. And everybody?
Yeah, also do drugs.
Oh, yeah, that definitely helps.
Yes. Maybe. I don't know. I was very straight arrow growing up. That all went downhill after college.
Like any good college experience.
Oh, God. As a college dropout, let me tell you what.
This has been Art Block, everyone. I'm Cable Provider. I've had a blast doing this one. I'm going to have a blast doing the rest of them. Look forward to the other ones. Try to get as many different guests with as many different skills as I can, because we all end up with an art block at some point in our lives, so we should all have somewhere to turn in case that happens. But I love you all. Thank you for checking this one out again. And, like Homic said, do drugs. Do drugs, everyone.
Kisses.
I'm turning red.